In a world of seemingly endless podcasts comes what many would call another one. Welcome to the Two Men podcast with your hosts Tim Matson and Phil Powell. Now please join these two confirmed men, that's two moderately entertaining nerds, as they take you on another podcast adventure that's guaranteed to be funny. Or not. This week the two men discuss how to Halloween properly.
Welcome, boys and girls, to the Halloween episode of the Two Men podcast.
Welcome.
Yeah.
This is your host.
Yeah.
I mean,
and in keeping with that theme,
yes,
this week's episode
is
how to Halloween properly.
We were a little confused about who was going to say that, I think.
I think we were, yeah.
Yeah, okay. How to Halloween properly.
I like it. I like your version better.
All right.
You're very sonorous.
Sonorous.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, you keep pulling out the big words.
I play Scrabble.
How to Halloween. Do you go out and trick-or-treat?
No, and that really bums me out, because that's one of the advantages to having children is that it extends your years of Halloween candy.
Mm-hmm.
Because from the time when we had Sam, we dressed her up and pushed her around in the stroller just to get some Halloween candy. You can do it as soon as they're able to go outside.
Right.
Throw a Halloween costume on them, pass it around the neighborhood, and you got free candy.
Did you have to prove that there was a baby in there?
Oh, that's a good point. I wonder if you could just throw a baby doll in there in a Halloween costume and get some candy. Probably could.
Well, I mean, people are so afraid of germs for their babies these days. I would not be surprised you could put a baby doll under a blanket and be like, we're very concerned about contagion.
You can just throw a little tiny hazmat suit in there and just tell them that there's a baby inside it.
I'm surprised parents don't make you do the disinfectant gel before they allow you to give your child candy.
I don't know.
They're very concerned.
Some parents are.
They're very
that's how you can tell how many children they have. Mm-hmm. If they're very, very concerned and they carry hand gel around with them, that's their first child. If they occasionally pull out something, it's their second child. And if the child is covered in dirt and has scrapes on both of its knees and elbows, that's their third child.
Okay, I see. Less concerned.
Yeah, absolutely.
That's right.
Absolutely.
Right.
I mean, it's 100% true. Whenever we had our first child, we read she read every single what to expect when you're expecting type of book, every literature under the sun to know what to do with the baby. And we studied that. With our second one, it all went out the window.
Did you take a test of some kind?
No. Kind of. I mean, you go to Lamaze and you have to learn all the breathing stuff and everything.
Now, isn't that also a racing thing?
Lamaze?
That's like a race car track, or
I think you're thinking of Le Mans.
Oh, I'm sorry. Forgive me for forgetting.
It sounds kind of the same.
I was going to say Le Mans. I think you're thinking of Le Mans.
A lot of guys would be much more willing to go to Le Mans if there was racing involved. Yeah. What if it was powered by your wife's breathing?
Right.
That way you could tie it all together. You got to learn how to breathe properly.
Yeah.
You got to race around the track.
Well,
I think we're onto something. I think in the South particularly, this could be a very effective way to get couples into Le Mans.
That's right. NASCAR.
It's sponsored by NASCAR.
Le Mans. All right, because there's Le Mans.
Sounds like Lorenzo Lamas.
Le Mans.
Le Mans.
Oh, now see, that would get a certain age.
That would be...
But I think those people are too old to have children. Lorenzo, anybody that would know Lorenz, Lamas? Isn't that right?
Lorenzo Lamas, Le Mans.
All right, patent it. Put it down.
I like it.
We've got it trademarked. Two Men podcast. You heard it here. What was the scariest outfit you ever had?
The scariest outfit I ever had? The best Halloween costume I had, the goriest, was when I was working at Wendy's, and I actually was on the schedule for Halloween. I had to work Halloween.
Yeah.
So what I did is I worked the drive-through window, and I got this Halloween Hollywood makeup effects thing, and I did a slashed throat.
Oh.
So I built up this whole scar and everything and filled it with blood and had it running down my Wendy's uniform and everything. And whenever they pulled up to the window, I just opened up the window and flop out.
Right.
It was a big hit. Everybody loved it.
Right. I don't think Dave would have approved of
Probably
that.
not.
He
Probably
would have,
not.
If you had taken a picture and put it on, if there had been Facebook back in those days, it would have gotten back to Dave.
Well, in my defense, there was a lot going on at Wendy's that Dave would not approve of.
Yes.
Yeah.
You just didn't have phones that took pictures.
Thank God.
Yes.
See, now I could still run for president because much of my youth is undocumented.
That's right. Although you still got friends who'd say you were unreliable. If you ran for president, I'll guarantee you there would be. I knew Tim Matson when he worked at Dandy's. You never worked at Dandy's, did you?
No, I didn't work at Dandy's.
You just had friends who worked at
Dandy's. I
Dandy's.
had a girlfriend that worked at Dandy's.
All right. I knew Tim when he worked at Kentucky Fried Chicken. And when he worked
I didn't work at KFC either.
No, you told me you did.
No, I did not.
Well,
you don't even listen to our podcast, do you?
I do. What was the?
I think that's a lie. It's Popeyes.
Oh,
the superior fried chicken franchise.
Okay, let me get through my fake speech.
For God's sake.
I knew Tim Matson when he worked at Popeyes, and when we worked at Wendy's. His work ethic was unreliable. He would sometimes make hamburgers deliberately without ketchup or mustard.
That's a true allegation.
Tim Matson is unfit to be president. That's what you'd get. You get a lot of...
That's pretty weak sauce. I mean, there's a lot worse things.
I know, people take their fast food pretty seriously.
That is true.
If you go...
This is America, after all.
Let me do the commercial. Millions of Americans every year are disappointed with their drive-thru. Tim Matson, responsible for partaking in this voted against legislation that would have prevented fast food mistakes. Tim Matson, unfit for America.
I'm Tim Matson, and I endorse this message.
See? We just made an ad. Halloween.
What was your best Halloween costume?
My Halloween costume would be Dracula when I dressed up for our church party, which is surprising considering all of our other stances. I can remember when...
they didn't call it like the fall festival or some other euphemism for Halloween?
No, they let us go out and trick-or-treat, and we could trick-or-treat in our Halloween costumes, but we would trick-or-treat for UNICEF. I don't think they do that anymore.
Yeah. I don't know. When my kids were little, I know there were still UNICEF trick-or-treaters.
Do people even know what UNICEF is?
I don't even know if I could tell you what that stands for.
Let's go. What is UNICEF? United
Nations
Anglican.
And no, it's not A, it's I. You suck at Scrabble.
I would, but
International Children's Foundation?
Fund, maybe? All I know about trick-or-treating for UNICEF is I got dressed up, I got no candy, we got mad people at the door because they had to give us spare change. That's what I know about trick-or-treat for UNICEF. All right, the worst thing you can do for Halloween.
The worst thing you can do for Halloween is to not dress up. I mean, that's lame.
Now, I'm also going to say this, that I noticed on my way into your house.
My house, yeah.
I noticed if I were to grade your Halloween display, I'm afraid I would have to give it a C.
What?
I would have to give it a C.
There's lights and everything.
Well, I didn't see the lights. I saw two.
Then you weren't looking at the porch. They're hanging on the porch.
I'm talking about what's beside the porch. I saw
4 pumpkins, lighted pumpkins.
2 looked like dollar store tombstones. 2 dollar store tombstones.
All right, that's fair.
And a couple of hurry up, throw the skeleton sticky parts in the ground. Let's not really worry about arranging them. I got to say, it was a C. I was not frightened.
I demand a recount. I think this is much more effective than you're leading on.
Really, I wasn't grading you on scariness as much as arrangement.
Oh, sure.
I think it was rushed.
Do you have anything at your house up? Do you have anything for Halloween up at your house?
No, I think the fact that I am...
You are a heretic.
I think that's a hypocrite that you're looking for.
That too. I think a little bit of both.
I'm a heretic.
A heretical hypocrite.
Hey, all right, well, let's turn that into a thing. What would be a combo of hypocritical it? Hypocritical it?
It's a heretical Howard Hessman hypocrite.
All right, okay. You are drinking from a skull and crossbones mug.
Yes, it says beware.
Beware. You made that sound again.
I did. I made the sound again.
You know what? Is there a
might
thing
have a throat
with you
problem.
Drinking and then some sort of a gurgly thing happening?
That's a Halloween sound effect.
All right.
That's all it is.
Didn't come from your body.
No, that was a Halloween sound effect.
Nor did the gas. None of that came from you.
No.
All right. The worst Halloween thing that happened that I still think is lame. When I see teenagers that come to my house with no costumes, here's my litany of complaints. When teenagers come to the house and what they have is like a baseball hat on. Okay, first off, cheerleaders, baseball players, any sports.
You're just wearing your uniform.
Yeah, that's right. You're wearing your uniform. I came as a Boy Scout. Well, you're already a Boy Scout. You didn't even go out and get that.
That's not even trying. At least come as a zombie Boy Scout. Now, that's some work.
Right. I remember when my next-door neighbor, who was in junior high, he came as in a very politically correct Mexican bandito outfit, which would in no way be offensive these days. But Actually, I don't even think
cosplaying Pancho Villa.
Well, you know what? I don't even think he had a hat, but he did paint on a mustache. Other than that, he was wearing regular clothes.
Oh, God, that's so weak. He didn't even have a sombrero?
Weak. No.
That's weak sauce.
And he wanted candy. And in my mind, that's akin to robbery. That's
no candy for him.
Candy robbery.
It kind of is.
If you don't have a costume or a baby in your carriage, then
even a fake one.
Then that's candy robbery.
It's extortion. That's what it is. It's extortion. You're trying to extort candy out of somebody under the pretense that you're dressed up.
That you have a costume.
Right, which you don't.
And that's morally wrong. And do you hear anyone talking about this in this election cycle?
No. It's not even being addressed. Why can't they address it? Why won't they say the name Halloween terrorist?
That's right. What scares you? We've established you're scared by snakes.
I can tell you one thing that scared me that's very Halloween related.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know. I may have talked about this before. I'm not really sure. One time I was house sitting for the summer when I was in college.
Yes.
For this couple. And I'm the only one there in this place. And I rented The Exorcist.
Mm-hmm.
And I was watching it. And I never made it all the way through. There's a jump scare, I don't know, 20 minutes into the film.
Right.
There's a big jump scare that I instantly shut it off, took it out of the VCR, put it back in the case, and said, nope, not watching that. That was it. I still, to this day, have not finished watching The Exorcist.
I was not allowed to watch The Exorcist.
That doesn't surprise me. What's your favorite scary movie, then? What do you like?
I don't like any of the slasher films. The ghost stuff. Ghost films usually scare me the most. The unknown.
We'll go back to your first ones. What? Since you weren't allowed to watch The Exorcist, what is an early thing that scared you? An early film that scared you?
Snow White.
Snow White's that can be kind of scary.
That chick in the mirror, she scared the pee out of me.
What?
Mirror, mirror
the
on
magic mirror is what
mirror,
scared
mirror,
you?
Mirror, mirror on the wall. Who's the fairest of them all? That was pretty scary. I cried a little bit.
You were afraid of Snow White.
No, not Snow White, but
the movie Snow White made you scared.
Yeah, I haven't watched it since I was a kid.
That's amazing.
I've seen clips of it.
Oh, God, that is the weakest, that is the saddest answer I've ever heard. I mean, you can't, that's not even legitimately scary. The thing in the mirror is just a face. It's just a person in a mirror.
I'm sorry. I don't know. Let's walk around your house. You got any faces in your mirrors?
No, I don't.
I'm betting if I put a face in your mirror, you might jump.
See, I'm able to separate reality from fiction, though. So I know that there's not a face in it.
That's right. By the time you'd reach college and you watch The Exorcist, you were able to erase the fantasy and separate fantasy from
I was the only one in the house, and it was dark, and I was scared.
So what else did you do then? You
turned on every single light in the house.
So, because demons can't hide it, demons can't get it.
They can't get you if it's light. I did. So, I have fully admitted, I went around the house, I turned on every single light, and put the videotape by the door.
That's pretty funny. Just to get the demon. I'm surprised you didn't put it outside the door.
I almost thought about going and putting it in my car, but it was dark out there.
No, you talk about being. How old were you?
I was in my 20s. My early 20s.
Okay, but you were still legal.
I was legal. I think I was 22. I don't remember.
That's pretty sad.
Oh my God.
So here's the weird part about Halloween. You can use symbols, okay, and it's all about death and scariness.
Yeah.
But you cannot use actual dead things.
No, that would be a bad idea. And they would call you a serial killer then. If you were
let's just say you you went around collecting dead things and you put them in your yard. I mean, let's just say innocent. There's already dead things in your. But I mean,
you go out and collect roadkill. Is that what you're talking about?
Yeah. Okay.
Oh man.
Yeah, it's disgusting. I agree.
That's gross.
It's disgusting. It's gross. But let me say, you've got a symbol of what you've got skeletons in your yard.
I have a plastic skeleton in my yard. Yes.
And it's supposed to be a symbol for
an actual skeleton,
right? Okay.
I suppose
a person.
I mean, sort of yes, sort of no, because I have it as if it's like coming up out of a grave. So, normal skeletons don't do that. This is an imaginary situation.
Well, normal dead people don't normally arise either.
No, they don't.
But if I stacked up a bunch of dead people that had volunteered in advance, for this, like Halloween display.
Who signs up to be your Halloween display? What kind of weirdo does that?
Using this podcast as our testimony. Tim, if you want to use me in a Halloween display, if I pass, I'm totally good. I'm totally good with that.
Really?
Yeah.
That's unprecedented.
If you want to put me out there, I think alive, I'm pretty scary.
Well, you're scary enough as it is.
I think if you put me out there dead, I think
we established last week that if I just took your shirt off, people would mistake you for a ghost.
Yeah. Now, see, I disagree with that.
You're pretty white.
That's only because my arms are so golden tan.
Is that what it is?
It's a contrast. I'm two-tone, baby.
You are definitely.
Two-tone. When was that a thing? You used to have two-tone shoes.
We used to have what?
Two-tone shoes. It was the same era in which you had
I've never heard of anybody referring to them as two-tone shoes.
Remember when
you're so much older than me, just decades older than me.
We've already had this discussion. Tim likes to pretend that death is farther away from him.
It's so far away.
It's so compared to death, who's making out with me.
Phil has practically moved in with the Grim Reaper.
That's right. Whereas Tim
I'm not talking about Roberta. Roberta, you're fine. You should look around and be aware that somewhere in your house, the Grim Reaper is just hanging out and waiting for your husband.
Tim is just heavy petting with the Grim Reaper.
We're sort of texting. We're sitting back and forth emojis.
No, I think you're full on. You are trying to get in the cloak.
You think I'm going to try to feel up the Grim Reaper? Even on my deathbed, I'm going to try to get lucky with the Grim Reaper.
It's like, all right.
I like my chances.
That's right. I think the Grim Reaper would be like, all right,
I mean, look at it this way. So many people are like challenging him to games or like want to play chess against him, draw out their time on Earth.
Right.
Me, I'm trying to give him a good time.
That's right. We're trying to give you a good time.
Well,
I don't know how. I don't know how that would work out.
I don't know, but I'm willing to give it a shot.
That's right. Eye contact is...
It would be difficult.
Ambiguous.
It would be ambiguous. I think I'm looking into your eyes. I don't know. They're in there somewhere, maybe.
I can't tell if you like me.
You're very smiley.
You are committed to my death. I'm confident of that. But I don't know if you want to go all the way.
It depends. Well, it depends on how long that boat ride
here's
is.
The thing is, yes means yes. Yes. Always remember that. Yes means yes. So you would have to... Yes. You would have to give you would have to get an affirmative from the Grim Reaper.
Well, I would say just smile if this is okay. So just give me a big old smile.
Put the sickle down. If you put the sickle down, I'm gonna assume that what I'm doing,
it's all good.
All right.
It's a green light. So that brings us to an end. So make sure you like us on Facebook and share us with friends, and we would be very grateful.
Honored is the word.
That's right.
Namaste. Namaste, everyone.
Welcome to everybody's favorite bit of the podcast, the Instant Opinion bit.
The Instant Opinion?
Yeah. Round of applause from the studio audience. With me, your host, Tim.
And me, Phil.
The contestant, Phil. And now, Phil, you ready for some instant opinions?
I'm going to render them.
All right, here we go. Starting off with candy corn.
Candy corn. Jimmy crack candy corn, and I don't care. I don't know what candy caramel corn? I guess that's what candy corn is. And, it's like it's from Halloween. It's candy corn. The timer's not going off because it should have gone off. Oh, there we are. I don't care for it. Now that I know what it is.
You don't even know what it is.
Now I
have an opinion on something that I have no clue what it is.
I figured it out. It's called a late opinion. It's like being a late bloomer.
I'm glad you got there eventually.
Yeah.
You didn't know what candy corn is. You don't instantly know what candy corn is.
No, because I don't like it. So I didn't experience it often enough to know what it is. I had to work my way there.
All right. I'm glad you got there in the end. Annoying ghosts.
Annoying ghosts. I'm in favor of annoying ghosts because I get it. They're bored. They're probably acting out. If you're a ghost, I'm quite confident you're suffering from post-traumatic stress disorder because you've been murdered or maimed in some way. So annoying ghosts, you just have to tolerate and get along with. And, I'm okay with them. As long as they don't interrupt my sleep. I want them to be a ghost during the day.
Wow. So no ghost at night?
No ghost at night,
That seems like when they would be most active.
I know, but I want a day ghost. If you want to live...
a day ghost?
If you want to live in my house and haunt me and everybody that get along, then it's got to be a day ghost.
If you stock the right snacks, I'd be your day ghost. I'd come over and haunt your house.
That's right.
All right. Sparkly vampires.
Sparkly vampires are probably shunned within their own community, I would expect. And but they also would have a chance of at dawn, I think, reflecting a bit of the sunlight on them early and then thus increasing their chance of death. So I guess they're brave.
You are unaware of the Twilight franchise, aren't you?
I watched the first one.
Did you? Oh, so you do know what I'm referring to then?
No, I just thought you meant vampires that wear like sparkles.
No. Oh my God. You must have blanked out the movie, which in that case, I envy you. All right. Garlic.
I don't eat garlic on a regular basis. I probably should. I would probably still kiss someone that I was attracted to, even if they had garlic recently. Oh. I don't think it wards off vampires I just don't think it does. I'm a non-believer. All
right. Michael Myers.
He is actually Captain Kirk. Or am I thinking of the other one? Is that Jason? Okay. Michael Myers. And I never liked Michael Myers. He never gave me a lot to like about him. He was always he
killing people.
He was aggressive, and I didn't get much sense of authenticity. I mean, you know what?
He wasn't likable enough. That's a great criticism for a horror movie villain. I didn't find him likable enough.
That's right. Hey, look, we all have mothers who are sometimes not nice to us. That's no excuse to go around and murder people.
I love how you can't distinguish between Jason and Michael Myers.
Well, I'll also point out that was the trope used in Psycho. Okay, so basically everything has to be, my mother was mean to me.
It's all your mom's fault.
It's all my mom's fault. I must stab people.
Oh, man. Horse masks.
Horse masks?
Horse masks.
I've worn a couple, and I've found them hot and sweaty and not convincing, even if you crawl around on all fours. So I don't recommend them.
Full moons.
Full moons. I don't find them romantic or scary. I find them bright, and I like to walk around at night and see what I'm doing. So in that sense, they're like the best reflector ever. That's what they are. The moons are the best reflector ever.
Fast-moving zombies.
I'm pro fast-moving zombies in movies. I'm con fast-moving zombies in reality. Don't like them. If you were to ask me which one I would rather run away from, it's going to be the slow-moving zombies all day long. But in movies, that's pretty interesting.
So you prefer the fast-moving zombies in your films, not the George Romero slower-moving zombies?
Well, there's conflict, but with the slow-moving zombies, first off, I think it slows the pace of the movie, and secondarily, I also think there's because it's like, oh my God, they're drawing out this like 10 feet from the time that it takes the zombie to get to the door. I also think as an actor, if you're a zombie, you're not giving me much to work with as a slow zombie. It's like,
their motivation is poor. That's your biggest complaint.
It's like, as an actor, you want to give your role everything. But if you're a slow-moving zombie, I don't know how you give that a backstory, how you do anything with that. It's difficult.
Yeah, that's difficult, and that's been Instant Opinion with me, Tim.
And me, Phil.
Bye, everybody.
Bye.
Greetings. I am Alice, highly paid digital assistant to the two moderately entertaining nerds of the Two Men podcast. Want to let us know what you thought of the show? Have a topic you'd like to hear discussed? Feel like demanding your money back? We'd love to hear from you on 2 out of those 3 questions. Drop us an email at twomencast@gmail.com. In the meantime, please rate us and leave a review on iTunes or your podcast service of choice. Also, for all discussions moderately entertaining, you can find us at facebook.com/2mencast. Please join us again next week when we'll be guaranteed to be funny. Or not.